champion mindset to me means that you go over and beyond your abilities, and no matter what happens in your life, you just keep getting up. Who you are and how you function is coming from your subconscious. So you can also use techniques like the cognitive behavior therapy, where the 3 C's, where you catch your thought. Are you going around in circles and revolving like a hamster wheel and see the same patterns appearing over and over again? Or are you evolving into a person that you desire to be?
What one key piece of advice would you like to give to everyone watching and listening today?
I just want to say, look, you were created for a reason, and you have greatness within you.
Hello, and welcome to the Business Growth Show, where I interview successful entrepreneurs on all areas of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Dahya Cassiotis. I'm a business growth expert, investor, and international speaker, where I help business owners grow and scale to create wealth and freedom. Today, I have an awesome guest. His name is Anthony Dahya, and he is the founder of the Champion Mindset Collective podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeart Radio, a public speaker, thought leader, coach, and mentor. And he's on a mission to fulfill his passion and purpose to be the change in the world and change people's lives by helping them find awareness of their challenges, discover their potential, and with the building and boosting unshakable self-worth and confidence to become the person they are destined to be and achieve their life goals. And he's been on a personal development journey of his own life since the age of 26 and has been to many adversities in his life, yet he has never given up on believing in his abilities and has always maintained a spirit of, I can achieve and do anything I set my mind to. And Anthony is passionate about helping people individually and collectively raise their consciousness to live a life with passion and purpose. And together we can change this world. Welcome, Anthony. And thank you for being on the Business Growth Show.
Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate you getting me on this call.
Yeah.
And on this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's going to be awesome, I'm sure, for everyone watching and listening today. So you are a successful entrepreneur. So yeah, for those people who don't know who you are, just introduce yourself by telling us a little bit more about you and your journey.
Yeah, sure. Where do you want me to start? At the beginning?
Beginning, middle, end, whatever works for you.
Yeah,
mate.
yeah. So look, I was born here in New Zealand, Wellington. At the age of 5, my parents separated through family interference. So my family are from India originally, and my great-grandfather came here in 1918, so over 100 years ago. Shortly after that, at the age of 7, I was sent to India to a ashram, a boarding school, which was literally crossed between army and prison. Barbed wire fences, you weren't allowed out, very regimented. And you can imagine the age of 7 just being dropped off and then there for 6 years. I felt abandoned, felt rejected, and I had, my self-worth wasn't that good. Didn't really believe in myself at the time. So it really impacted my life at that time, but also as I grew up. I remember at the age of 15, I remember someone very close to me told me that I was useless. I would never amount to anything. I'd never be a singer. I'd never amount to anything. And that really, that really hurt me. But what it did is actually gave me a relentless sort of attitude towards believing in myself and backing myself. And I did at one point at that time, I tried to cut myself and kill myself. But I remember I joined a church, started to get involved in youth leadership and so on, became a worship leader. And then I took singing lessons, which really gave me the confidence, because I started to build my confidence around my passion, which was singing. And years later, that person came along to a concert that I was singing at a bar and literally bawled his eyes out and realized that what he had said all those years ago made me a stronger person. And I proved it to myself, and I proved it to that person that you know, I can do anything that I put my mind to. I've never passed anything at school, but I've always backed myself and believed in myself. And I believe that any one of us can achieve anything, because nothing is impossible. Because if you break the word impossible up, I'm possible, right? Now, with all that trauma that I went through later on in my life, as an adult and starting to get into relationships, that really triggered me. It really impacted me because I didn't know what love was. I didn't know what affection was. I didn't know my mum until I was 21 years old. And so it took me a long time. I used to watch my brother and how he was with his girlfriend to learn how to be affectionate and romantic and so on. And my brother's 5 years younger than me. So as you can imagine, this played out in my work and in my personal life over the years in relationships. Now, one thing in terms of having a champion mindset, I'm currently going through the 24th restructure in my career, and I've been through 3 redundancies. And so to be able to still get up every time you get knocked down, it takes relentless drive and a champion mindset. So a long story short, I really want to, the Champion Mindset Collective podcast is really there to encourage and inspire people, everyday people, that, hey, you can be a champion in your life. You have the ability to achieve anything in your life. And as long as you believe in yourself and back yourself, you will get there because you are destined for greatness.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I love that. What a powerful story. I can see some similarities, I guess, with mine as well, going through, which is amazing. So, yeah, it's, keep moving forward. And yeah, I love how you're all about, cultivating this champion mindset. And I love, let's delve deeper into this topic now. Now that can mean a lot of things, right? I've got my meaning, I guess, on it. So I'd like to know for you, what is having a champion mindset, mean to you?
Yeah, well, let's talk about what mindsets are, right? There's a fixed mindset, which is, hey, I'm born this way and I can't do anything better, or I can't learn anything. And I'm looking across my laptop at the moment to a book on my bookshelf called Mindset by Carol Dweck, and she was a psychologist that wrote this book, and she described the whole fixed and growth mindset. The other flip side of it is growth mindset, where you believe that, hey, you could learn anything. Nothing is static, it's dynamic. It depends on how much you apply yourself. I guess a champion mindset to me means that you go over and beyond your abilities, and no matter what happens in your life, you just keep getting up. And it's like nothing can knock you down, because it's like one of those those boxing things that you punch and it keeps coming back at you. It's kind of like that, where no matter what comes at you, you take that with positivity and your intentions, and you know that, hey, whatever you speak to yourself in your life, there's a seed that's being sown, and you are creating that. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, that where your attention goes, your energy flows, right? What you focus on is what you become. And so when you speak words out into the universe, and it says in the Bible, your words have power. And so when you speak these words, you're actually speaking them over yourself. We've got to ask ourselves also, like, we listen to songs every day, right? And there are effectively, all those songs are affirmations. We are speaking these words over our lives. And just the other day, I published episode 45 with Nadine Royale. She's an American singer, self-labeled singer, actress, and entrepreneur. And she's developed this brand called Ascendi, and it's an apparel brand. But what she does is she has affirmations on that brand. And all her songs have affirmations, positive affirmations, so that when you're singing those, you're actually singing those words over yourself. Another example was, I was listening to Rachel Platten the other day with Lewis Howes on his podcast, and she was talking about the fight song. That was an inspirational song that she got, but the words in that are so powerful. It became the #1 song in the world. And so, I think if you develop this champion mindset where nothing is impossible, you are possible. You have the ability. You are destined for greatness. So if you just search within yourself, instead of looking for external validation, search within yourself, because everything you need is in there. You just need to open up that can, and you've got a can of whoop ass that's gonna come out.
Yeah, I love it, mate. It reminds me a bit of Rocky, right? You know, the movies, right? Where, he kept getting hit, but he kept coming back up in that way as well. And I love what you're talking about there, building more of that intrinsic, internal motivation, right? Not needing external things, which is allows you to drive forward a lot more. So yeah, powerful stuff there. And let's talk about, I guess, habits and rituals, right? Because I think this is an important thing with mindset, whether it's morning routines or other things like that people do. So I'd love to know from your perspective of, what's ideal, for us to be able to develop and I guess maintain, a champion mindset.
Yeah, so for anyone who's starting out and hasn't done this before, I would recommend that you uh, listen to affirmations and you read affirmations. You can either write them yourself, or there's a ton of them on YouTube and apps and so on, like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Apple Music. So affirmations, speaking positive words over yourself. What's your language? How are you languaging yourself? Are you coming from a place of from a desperation, or are you coming as a creator? If we're created in the image of God, then we have the ability to create things in our lives, right? So what I do is, this is my routine, is when I'm lying in bed in the morning, when you're in the morning, you're in alpha state where your brain waves are open, right, to your subconscious. What I do is first thing I do is I go, I I um I give gratefulness to God and universe about all the things that I'm grateful for. And if you do that and you set yourself up by gratefulness the first thing in the morning, it completely sets your day up for you. So do that. Be grateful for everything that you're grateful for. And remember, you get to wake up. And I heard Steve Harvey say this. You get to wake up means that you've got another day on this earth to make a difference. So if you get to get up, then you get to make a difference. That's the other thing I do, is I go to work going, what difference can I make today in other people's lives? So it's never about me, it's about other people. The other thing I do is I ground myself. Now, you could either go out onto the grass or concrete and ground yourself in the sun. But what I visualize is I visualize myself where my legs are channels going into the ground and anchoring themselves. Then an elevator appears, and I hop into this elevator and go to the center of the earth. I run across this bridge to this opening where there's like the sun, the water, the mountains, and then the sun comes and just strips away my current self, and I regenerate into my new self for that day. Then run back across up the elevator back into my body, and I'm grounded. And then the other thing I do is I do segment intending. Now, if you haven't heard of this, like Vishen Lakhiani talks about this in the Mind Valley course that he does around being extraordinary. But if you've heard of Abraham Hicks, she talks about this, and it's about breaking your day up into really small segments. And then you say, wouldn't it be amazing if I got up today and I did this? Wouldn't it be amazing if this happened? Wouldn't it be amazing if that happened? And I guarantee you, if you do that, things are going to start happening to you. I'll tell you a little quick story. I was going through some shadow work, some trauma healing earlier this year. And I had a flatmate, I'll call her Sim, and she stayed with me for 12 weeks. And the way she turned up was just like, I was going, universe, I need cash. What am I going to do? Next minute, I get a message saying, do you know anyone who's looking for a room? Got a room to hire? And I said, yeah, I have. Come over. So she's with me for 12 weeks, and she kept me accountable. She pulled me up on my BS every single day. But the thing is, what I did is one morning I got up and I said, wouldn't it be amazing if I got up today and I had a really nice cooked breakfast and a really great cup of coffee? And wouldn't it be amazing if today was the day that the recruiter from the largest council in Australasia called me to say I got the job as a business partner? And I got up, had a shower, came into the kitchen, and my flatmate says to me, can I make you a cooked breakfast? And I went, what? 2 hours later, I get a call, and the recruiter says, you've got the job. It's all done and dusted.
Love it. Amazing, mate. What a powerful story that is. And I loved all of that part. I think there's a lot of great things from, whatever level you're at, to include. And I think that I did the grounding as well, but I love your specific rendition of it, right? Where you go into this little elevator and regenerate yourself and come back up. That's different. Never heard that one before. So that's very cool, to do that. And yeah, I love, very, very, very powerful. Wouldn't it be amazing? All of those areas there, and, focus on what you want. So really powerful, mate.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
other thing I would say is anyone struggling with anxiety and fear, reprogramming your brain at night. I used to do this where I would have a YouTube video of reprogramming your mind, and it would play all night for 9 hours while I sleep. And as I come in and out of my sleep, I'm getting these affirmations coming through, and they would actually reprogram my subconscious. Your subconscious mind is, 95% of your is automatic. Who you are and how you function is coming from your subconscious. So you can also use techniques like the cognitive behavior therapy, where the 3 C's, where you catch your thought, you check your thought, and you change your thought. Catch it and say, is this true? If it's not, change it. Because your thoughts create your personality, and your personality creates your reality. So it's so important to be mindful and to reprogram yourself during the day. So every time something happens and a trigger pops up, you go, is this true? No, it's not. Let it go, move forward. And that way, if you think about it, you've got hurdles in front of you. When you're jumping hurdles, you jump over one, run, jump over the next one. So yeah, just think of them as hurdles, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love it. Yeah, I'm definitely same rendition on that one. And flip it around. What do you want it to be? And then tell yourself that going forward, right? And then eventually, that will be gone. And then you're not even running a hurdle race anymore. You're just running the straight 100 meters, and you won't have to worry about
Absolutely.
That's the plan, right? I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. So, I've won a lot of championships in soccer and tennis, right? Growing up from a young age. And I'd like to know, I guess, your thoughts on the impacts of sport, right? Or similar things to sport, that maybe have, an effect on, on having a champion mindset as well. Like maybe it's martial arts, other things like that, right? That could have an effect on having a champion mindset.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've played sports, but I was never a champion at any of those sports. I mean, I played cricket and rugby and badminton. But look, I'm a singer, so maybe I'll move it to more of a creative space. So remember, my story where I would never be a singer, right? I was told that I'd never be a singer. Well, in 2008, I got discovered at a karaoke bar here in Auckland, and the guy came up to me and said, "That song you're singing, which was Superstition by Stevie Wonder, is a winning song in America." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And he said, "No, no, no, come and sit down." So he showed me this book folder with all these people that he'd taken to America, to Las Vegas, and to this contest. And he says, you know, we're going to take you to America." I said, "Oh, okay." So anyway, here I entered a competition. I didn't place. I was in the grand final, but I didn't place anywhere. And I went to Las Vegas with a team of 13 other singers, and all of them were great singers. And we got there, and as you can imagine, what singing is like here in New Zealand compared to Australia, and then compared to the States, is like far between, right? I'm sitting there, and this African American guy gets up and sings Superstition, and I'm looking at him, and he's like, doing all the moves, everything, and I'm going, whoa. I look at the guy who took me there, and I looked at him, and I went, what do I do? He went. Now I knew I had to either step up or go home, and going home wasn't an option. So I went on that stage, and I gave it my all. And I ended up getting into the semi-finals, and then I sang September by Earth, Wind and Fire, and ended up placing 8th in that competition out of 45 singers. But it started off with about 1 million people in the beginning. So at that point, I realized that, hey, I can do anything, and whether it's sport, whether it's creative things, it doesn't matter. And if you remember back to that person who said I was useless, That person then raised $2,500 for me to go and represent New Zealand, and was my biggest fan.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. I love it. And yeah, what I would take from that is, you don't have to be the most naturally talented, right person. But if you put the work in, you're dedicated and you keep moving forward and just believe you can do it, then, you can get to the top, or very close to the top from there.
And never give up. Just be relentless. Never give up.
Yeah, definitely. I've been like that with getting some people on my podcast as well. Eventually some big names that I've gotten on there, and I'm like, two no's, most people will probably, just put in the towel. I'm like, nah, I'm keep going. I'm going to get you at some point, and normally I get them, right? So having a good persistence, it helps you in business, right? As well, from, you want to do partnerships, other things like that, right? Or whatever it is, whether it's podcast stuff, having that persistence in a good way without being too full on with someone, you'll get there in the end on it. So love it, mate. Definitely, very good for life, but also, very good, translatable to business too. So awesome stuff. Let's talk a bit about, mental toughness. I think this is a good, way of putting it, right? Because a lot of people can be like, oh yeah, this sounds good, Anthony, and you just keep going. But there can be a lot of setbacks, right? That come up, and we all got it, right? We've both been through it, many of them, right? It's just don't know it. But some of them could be a lot bigger than others, right? And it's like, what do you do in that moment to sort of, I guess, build that up so you can, because you're not going to go from 1 to 100, right? Straight away, right? You sort of got to build yourself up. So you want to talk a little bit more about that, how to get there, over time.
Yeah, look, I think anything in life it's all about it's you got to start somewhere to get somewhere, right? If you don't start, you can't finish. And so the first thing you must do is start. If you're wanting to write a book, if you're wanting to start a business, if you're wanting to start a podcast or whatever it is you're wanting to do, first thing you got to do is set that intention and have a vision and start. From there, once you start, the universe and God will give you all the tools you need. You don't need to work out how it's going to happen. You just got to go on that journey and start. Now, absolutely, setbacks are going to come along the way, and lots of them, because you're going to have imposter syndrome. You're going to have all these different things that are going to pop up. You're going to have triggers from your past that are going to pop up. But the thing is, I guarantee you, if you, rather than giving up, if you actually work on it and deal with it and heal through it, you will move, you'll be able to move mountains. Now, it's taken me a number of years to get to where I am today, but that was it. There's that saying, every setback is a setup for your comeback, for a greater comeback, right? So the key is to be proactive, and is not to procrastinate. My father taught me years ago, son, never procrastinate, always action stuff, otherwise it's going to come and bite you in the bum. So I always held on to that. So I would say that whenever something pops up, deal with it straight away. And it's going to be uncomfortable. But the thing is that so get this, your dreams die in your comfort zone, right? Your dreams will die in your comfort zone. But if you really want your dreams to come true, you've got to live in your uncomfortable zone permanently. And that is what I do, is I live permanently in my comfortable zone, and I don't let anything affect me. I deal with it and I move forward. Also, I've ended up with a reputation of being an instant implementer. So when I realize something is not right and I hear about a way of being able to do it, I just do it. Just that, like the Nike brand, just do it. Mel Robbins talks about this. The word just is so powerful. Just do it.
Yeah.
The more you think about it, the more you're going to talk yourself out of it. So just don't even think about it, just do it. And then deal with the consequences after. So I think be relentless, back yourself, believe in yourself. If you do that, if you back yourself and believe in yourself, you're already halfway there. And it's also about really valuing your self-worth. Really, how you speak to yourself will determine how your self-worth is. And remember, your self-esteem is made up of three things. It's your needs, your emotions, and your boundaries. And if you don't look after your needs, if you don't connect with your emotions, and you don't set healthy boundaries, then there's a recipe for disaster there. But yeah, so it's important to just keep moving forward no matter what. And think of yourself like the Flash, just straight through.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. Love it. It's reminds me of Richard Branson says, say yes and work out the how later, right?
Absolutely.
When you get opportunities. As a great thing I learned through NLP was, the universe will only give you things that you can handle, right? So I think it's a great thing to think of, right? So some people are like, oh, I've never done this before, or this seems, way out there, but it's like, say yes, work it out after, and just start, like you said, moving forward, and then be okay with moving through
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I mean, if you take the example of a baby, right? When you're born, your baby, you can't do jack shit for yourself. You can't even change your nappy or feed yourself. So you're reliant on your parents, right? And there is a thing called the adult growth model, which is reliance, rebellion, results, and realization. And both sides of that modality has a functional and a dysfunctional side. So it's important to, as an adult, remember not to be too reliant on other people, but really rely on yourself. But the thing is, as a baby, it can't walk, and then all of a sudden it learns how to crawl. And then the baby learns how to stand up, and it falls over probably more times than, before it actually starts to walk. Then it starts to run. So it's like you've got to get up, crawl, walk, and run before you. So don't compare yourself to others, because someone who has spent, like, let's take Tony Robbins, 40 something years he's been in this business, right? Yeah, I can't expect to be like Tony Robbins in 1 year. No, he's put in so much work to get to where he is today. So don't compare yourself to anyone. Compare yourself to yourself. Who were you yesterday and who are you today? If you're the same person that you were yesterday, then you need to change something. And Dr. Joe Dispenza says, if you want to be your future self, you've got to change yourself. And if you don't go through that change process, you cannot become your future self.
Yeah, love it, mate. Really, really powerful. And let's talk about goals now, right? And probably more so big goals, I think, is a big one, right? Because I think a lot of people just might do some easier goals, not really stretching their comfort zone too much. But I think it's important to have some bigger goals, right? That we want to be doing out there, and how that, I guess, relates to the mindset that's needed for that. So you want to talk more about that, that bigger goal setting, and what is needed from a mindset perspective on that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I relate it to my own goal, so I'll just a bit of a backstory. So back in 7 years ago, I was frustrated. I was like, "What is my purpose?" And I'd just been listening to Jay Shetty's podcast on purpose, and then I was sitting in my lounge. It was New Year's Eve. The light was off. The sun was going down, and then it went pitch black, and I was crying out to universe and God. Next minute, my TV lit up, and I saw this vision of me standing on a stage speaking to thousands of people. One side, I had coaches and mentors with me, and the other side, consultants. And on the stage with me were all the greats: Jay Shetty, Lewis Howes, Rob Dahl, Tony Robbins. All these guys were on the stage with me. And so I believe that was one of my events, and I was speaking. Now, that's the vision I'm holding on to. That's the goal I want to get to, right? I want to be an international public speaker and change influencer. I did go through a coaching and consulting journey last year, but my end goal is to be an international public speaker and change influencer. So I went, okay, what is my goal? My goal is between 5 to 7 years, I want to be on the international stage. Reality is, from my track record, is that when I set a goal, I always achieve it way before, right? So then I went, okay, well, what do I need to do to be able to do that? I went, okay, for influencing, I need to start a podcast. And for speaking, I need to hone my speaking skills. So I went to Toastmasters. So I'm currently doing Toastmasters. And so in each of these areas, I set long goals, but then I set short goals and go, okay, well, if my goal is to be, so for my podcast, I want to get to 2,000 to 3,000 episodes in 10 years' time. because recently, I think it was Lewis Howes got to 1800 in 10 years, and Rob Dial did something similar to that. And I'm like, I want to go beyond that. So what do I need to do? Okay, I need to do at least 2 to 3 episodes a week where I'm recording, either having guests or I'm doing it myself. Is it doable? Yes, it is. And the same thing with the speaking is like, okay, what can I do at Toastmasters? How can I challenge myself each time I go there? And so the last time I went there, I did a speech and a table topic, and I ended up winning first place in the table topic. Because what I do is I take my podcast episodes that I record, I condense those down into small speeches, and I practice them at Toastmasters, because that is one day those set of speeches are going to become automatic for me when I get to that end goal, right? So a good rule of thumb is like set yourself a goal in terms of when you want to achieve it. Is it in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Then you break it into quarterly goals and go, for each quarter, what do I want to achieve? Then you break it down into monthly goals and go, what do I need to achieve each month to meet my quarterly and yearly and whatever other goal? Then you break it down into weekly goals, and then you break it down into daily goals. So what is one thing you can do every single day to contribute to your weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly goal?
Yeah. Awesome, mate. Completely agree. I always say that in business, in life, whatever the goal is, and I think Toastmasters is a great way for people, to get there if they're wanting to speak right at some point, and then whatever that other things are. Awesome, well on the podcast of getting there. I think the stats are 1% of podcasters get more than 20 episodes, right? And I know you're over 40 or so, whatever it is now, right?
I heard it was 7.
Yeah.
I think Rob Dial said that most people who start podcasts, they don't go past 7. But the fact that I'm currently now I'm currently editing episode 47, so I'm close to 50.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. And I've done over 200, and you'll get there just because I started earlier, right? But you got to start sometime. And I love what you said before about the comparison, right? It's like, doesn't matter if someone's like, you're not Joe Rogan that started, all this time ago and podcast. It's like, just start. And then, you work through and do it your own journey, and what skills you need to learn based on the goals, right? That you've got, as you were talking about before, and breaking them down. So I love all of that. Yeah. Do you want to add something?
Absolutely. Because when you start, the inspiration will come, and the universe and God will give you the steps ahead. I remember a preacher saying that our job is not to work out the how. Our job is just to set the vision.
Yeah, I love that, right? And that's same as a leader in a business, right? You got the big vision in terms of what you're doing, right? Your personal vision, your business vision, and then you work out the how later. You get people in to help you, whatever you need, right, along that journey there. So let's talk about surrounding yourself with the right people. I think this is really important in terms of mindset as well, right? Because whether you're in a business, you got one toxic person that could make everyone a problem, or just generally people you're hanging out with, right, in life. And if you've got people that are really negative compared to people, that are positive. So do you want to talk about, the element of our environment, how that plays a factor, and how to, I guess, adjust that to make sure we've got our champion mindset?
Absolutely. So you look, no matter where you go, you're always going to have negative people around you. So you've got to block out that noise from the negative people, right? And you've got to surround yourself with people who are going to build you up. So start hanging out with people that are positive, who are giving you, the energy, because we are made of energy, and we whatever energy we put out is what we draw back to ourselves. So if we're hanging out with, if you want to be an entrepreneur, start hanging out with entrepreneurs who are positive, because they're going to rub off on you. You're going to learn lots from them. I've heard so many like entrepreneurs and billionaires and stuff who've said, if you want to be something, hang out with the people that have already done it, because you'll learn from them, right? And as long as you've got an open mind and of like, hey, I'm not better than anyone else, then you'll learn. You will come across negative people, but I think we have the opportunity to then influence them. And And if you can influence them and they are willing to listen to you, then that's cool. But if they don't, then maybe you need to let those people go, because it's no point holding on to negative people, because they're just going to draw you back, drag you down. For those who know about frequency, energy, frequency, as your frequency rises, as you go from survival to enlightenment, so as you go through those different frequency ranges. Now, people may be within your range and they will try and grab onto you, and you'll notice people that are kind of like negative, but they're always somehow in your space, but they're just trying to grab onto you because they're just within range of you. So the thing is to continually keep raising your frequency and your energy, and look at what you do. So the way I do it is I basically go, I'm going to live my life from a place of love. Everything I do, I'm going to do from a place of love. I'm not going to judge people. I'm not going to hate people. Just going to do everything from a place of love. And what you'll find is that the people that are not right for you will fall off. They will detach themselves from you, because darkness cannot live within light. And one thing though, sometimes we have to go through the darkness to get to the light. So just bear that in mind, is that, look, you'll go through challenges in life, you'll come across people that are negative, but the key is to ask yourself, does this person resonate with me? Are these people giving me the right energy? And if they're not, then it's time to let them go.
Yeah, love it, mate. Completely agree. And you can just drift from them naturally, right? That's what I've done with people, right? Where you just don't get back to them. You don't have to necessarily be harsh and tell them, if they're not awakening and wanting to be positive, you can just allow them to, go into their own zone. So yeah, powerful one, mate. Love that. And you mentioned before, I think it's very important about coaches and mentors, right? Like you were talking about when you're on that stage. And I think coaching, mentoring is really important, right? Business life and these areas. So do you want to talk about your journey, with coaches and mentors and what it's helped you to achieve as well?
Absolutely. I think you'll find people in everyday life. Sometimes it could be a friend, sometimes it could be a family member that just gives you a different perspective. Einstein said, if you keep, the same thought that created the problem cannot solve the problem, right? And if you keep doing the same thing, you'll get the same result. And it's insanity to think that you're going to get a different result. So sometimes you need a different perspective, right? And so sometimes it could be, like I said, a family member or a friend, but other times you may get professional help. And I think it's important to seek help from professionals who have been on that journey as well, and who can give you a different perspective. So that, because when you're in that midst of all that noise in your head, you can't work things out. So you've got to calm that down. So it's important to regulate yourself in your thinking and also your emotions. And sometimes the only way to do that is either you can do through meditation, or to go and speak to a coach or a mentor who can guide you through that. Because we, as coaches and mentors, we are guides that can help you, because we've been there. And if we've been there and we may be a couple of steps ahead of you, we can then guide you along that. If you think about coaches, and I remember a pastor said to me years ago when I was a worship leader, he said, a worship leader is a guide, and you're effectively taking the church up this mountain, and putting all their trust in you. And so, if you put your trust in a coach or a mentor or a professional that can help you, I guarantee you that they will be able to get you out of whatever space you're in. And it's better to do that sooner rather than later, because otherwise you're just stuck in this loop. And I like to say it in this way: are you revolving in your life, or are you evolving in your life? So
Yeah.
ask yourself that question. Are you going around in circles and revolving like a hamster wheel, and see the same patterns appearing over and over again? Or are you evolving into a person that you desire to be?
Yeah, love it, mate. Really powerful. Completely agree with all that. Awesome, mate. And you shared so much gold with us today. And I guess as we're starting to wrap up, what one key piece of advice would you like to give to everyone watching and listening today?
I just want to say, look, you were created for a reason, and you have greatness within you. You may not feel like you do, but you've got greatness within you. So I really encourage you to back yourself and believe in yourself, because no one's coming to save us. Only we can save ourselves. So champion your life and champion your greatness.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Love that. Really, really powerful. And yeah, we connected through our networks. I learned about your awesome journey through your all your personal development and your setbacks, and to then think you can achieve and do anything you set your mind to. You shared a lot of gold with us today, mate. I love it. I love the topic of mindset. You're an awesome guy. I'm sure you continue to help people, discover their potential. With boosting unshakable self-worth and confidence to become the person they're destined to be and achieve their life goals. Very grateful that we connected, mate, and look forward, to working with you and getting on your podcast as well. So yeah, how can people find you, get in contact with you, Anthony?
Yeah, sure. So you can find the Champion Mindset Collective podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Radio, and wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find the Champion Mindset Collective group on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And if you're wanting to find me, Anthony Dahya, that's ANTHONY I'm on all the major platforms. So I'm on what am I on? I'm on I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So yeah, you'll be able to find me. So just put my name in, and I'd encourage you, if you're listening to any of those episodes on the podcast, I encourage you to leave a comment, what you thought, or contact me, or share it on your social media, and share it with your friends, your family, and your workmates, so we can get this message out to the wider world. And tag me in. I'd love to see your guys' comments and interact with you.
Yeah, awesome, man. Love it. Yeah, definitely check out Anthony there on all those areas on his podcast, as well as the social groups and all the social media platforms. And yeah, connecting and giving your thoughts. We always love the feedback, and it's been a pleasure, mate, interviewing you. And yeah, thanks for being on the Business Growth Show.
Thank you, Ethan. I totally appreciate it.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Business Growth Show, where we talk about everything on business growth. And please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as Ethan Cassiotis, or visit my website, ethancassiotis.com. And if you want to grow and scale your business, you'd reach out to me on any platform to see if we're a good fit. So until next time, remember that our business grows where we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So let's create wealth and freedom together.